Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
I am just off Centennial Trail near Barker Road. This is where the Spokane Riverkeeper says it is seeing an urgent environmental situation it has never seen before. The waters of the Spokane River just gone. The Spokane River is a popular summertime spot, but usually not for rock climbing. Avista and Washington's Department of Ecology say this unusual site is due to several factors, including our hot, dry summer.
And the warmer it is, the more evaporation you get, which takes away from some of the water that's coming in.
Early this month, Avista reduced flows at Post Falls Dam to the bare minimum 500 cubic feet per second to balance levels at Coeur d'Alene Lake and the river. These summertime reductions often happen, and it does impact river flows, says Patrick Cabbage with Washington Ecology.
So while it's not necessarily what we would expect, it's also not it's not without precedent.
He says 2007 and 2015 also saw lower river flows. But there are factors that impact the river that are different from years past.
There's a lot more people moving into our area. There's houses out on the Rathdrum Prairie that never existed 10 years ago.
That's increased the draw on water from the river and aquifer. The Riverkeeper says this section feeds the aquifer, saying right now there's not enough to also keep the river running. Cabbage says this is a stark visual reminder to conserve water.
Irrigate for 18 minutes instead of 20, and you now have a 10% reduction in water use. Your yard won't really feel the difference. And it's not just yards, it's golf courses, parks, schools, it's all these different things, anywhere, any industrial uses.
Avista will increase Post Falls discharge just after Labor Day, though you won't see an immediate difference downstream.
It takes a while for the water to literally fill up the banks of the river and all that porous rocks.
My concern is that if people see water come back, then there's no concern anymore. Everything's fixed. This is a long-term kind of. We need to have a long look and be looking into the future. Really, I can't stress enough what people do matters.
Shannon Mowdy.
How people use water matters.
KREM 2 News.
Starting today, the FBI is launching a massive search for new evidence. We're just outside of the Leavenworth Hatchery, which is about 15 miles east of Rock Island Campground. That's the location where the girls were found killed earlier this year.
We want to bring closure. We want to bring answers.
Right now, nearly 100 personnel are combing the rugged Rock Island campground area. The teams include FBI SWAT, evidence experts, intelligence analysts, and partner agencies like the U.S. Marshals, Forest Service, and Chelan County deputies. The FBI says this two-day grid search is designed to collect any possible evidence and prevent the need to recheck the area. They're primarily conducting their search efforts during the day, within a quarter-mile radius of where the three girls were found dead.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically that you found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison has been on this case since the beginning. He acknowledges this two-day search may not produce new answers, but stresses he and his team are committed to exhausting every possible lead.
We don't give up. We understand that the girls would not want us to give up, but I did talk with Whitney last night over the phone. I get her frustration. Of course, she wants the kind of closure where we can locate Travis and bring him to justice.
Authorities say they plan on reopening the campground around 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. In Leavenworth, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
Last night, paramedics rushed a Spokane woman and the man accused of stabbing her to the hospital. Court documents filed today say the attack followed an argument between the two at her apartment. Now, the woman told deputies she was in her apartment with her friend and her friend's boyfriend, identified as Michael Helms. The woman began arguing with Helms, telling him to leave because she says he was invading her private space. Now, that argument escalated. Helms searched for his car keys and then accused the woman of hiding them. Court documents say he then grabbed a knife and stabbed her in the chest. Helms and his girlfriend immediately left the apartment. Court documents say as they were leaving, Helms threw the knife over a nearby fence. A neighbor called 911. Deputies arrested Helms later that night, charging him with first-degree assault. Now, in the courtroom this afternoon, the prosecutor noted the severity of the alleged stabbing.
Mr. Helms is alleged to have stabbed the victim in the chest with a knife, as well as in the process cracking her sternum.
Now, the woman is expected to be okay. Court document says Helms also went to the hospital after an apparent overdose right after deputies arrested him. This afternoon, the judge set his bond at $50,000.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. It's been a busy week across the inland Northwest, and we want to help you catch up on some of the stories you might have missed.
The Central Valley School District is welcoming students back with an important upgrade: new secure lobby entrances for 5 schools.
3, 2, 1.
Parents in the Central Valley School District now have a renewed sense of peace, believing their child is better protected while at school.
And having these vestibules actually adds an extra layer of security.
The push for safety comes from the district's Making Schools Safer campaign. KREM 2 News previously reported the district was able to fast-track capital levy dollars, making the project possible 5 years earlier.
Broadway Elementary, how may I help you?
These new lobbies or vestibule entrances serve as the first safety checkpoint for all visitors. A simple but powerful way to enhance school safety, which gives Stephanie Jordan, a parent and school board member, more reassurance that students are safe at school.
They're locked doors. They have to be admitted by the secretaries. They only let you in when they know who you are and they know what your purpose is being there.
At Broadway Elementary, Principal Ross Johnson showed me how it all works.
And here we'll have an access spot where they are able to buzz into our secretaries, and they do have a camera as well. That way our secretaries can speak to them on the phone and also have clear visibility of them from their desks before they are allowed to enter into the building. And then these doors will remain locked, so then family members cannot enter straight into the building. They must go through our office area and then be let into the school building.
District officials told me that Broadway, Progress, Liberty Lake Elementaries, Summit School, and Green Acres Middle School will all have this new safety upgrade.
The district says the safety upgrades are part of a $2.8 million project, and 5 more schools will get the same safety upgrades next year. I'm reporting in Spokane Valley, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
No parent can.
To come to a decision to leave your child on the side of a freeway?
Especially not this dad of 2, Trooper Shannon McKenzie.
Well, this isn't a common occurrence. I've only seen it just the one other time.
It happened again Saturday night on busy Highway 512 in Puyallup. 34-year-old Morgan Barnes was driving near Pioneer Avenue when court documents say he told troopers his 4-year-old daughter was being disruptive and loud in the back seat. A witness watched as the man's SUV veered across the freeway, stopping abruptly. This is where he left his 4-year-old girl, right beside the line that separates the shoulder from speeding traffic. People aren't meant to be here, let alone children.
Maybe the child would have got hit by a car or abducted.
Multiple drivers stopped.
There's so many different variables that could happen to a young child on the side of 512.
Preventing the little girl from entering the road. She told troopers her dad had just taken her to the movie theater. Barnes eventually came back to this scene. He was taken to jail and has pleaded not guilty to felony abandonment. Court documents say he admitted it was a poor decision, telling troopers his wife is currently deployed with the Army and he has been under significant stress caring for 5 kids on his own. The one left here is safe, in the custody of another family member, ordered by the court to have no contact with her dad.
Authorities believe Ken and Barbara Martin and their 3 daughters from northeast Portland were driving in the Columbia Gorge when their cream-colored station wagon with red trim crashed into the river in Cascade Locks. Now, nearly 70 years later, local diver Archer Mayo believes he has finally uncovered remains of both Ken and Barbara and possibly their 14-year-old daughter.
I feel good that this is a win, but it's a win in comparison to the sadness of what happened.
The Martins' 2 younger daughters surfaced a year after their disappearance, not far from the final destination of the car in this old canal. Mayo discovered the vehicle last fall in a deep underwater pit.
When you dig under the river, you can't just dig a hole like in your garden. You have to, it's like digging in gravel.
He found toys, clothes, and in recent days, after going even deeper into the pit, what he believes are some of Barbara's and Ken's remains.
It's tough, it's because it's real. Like, I know it's real and it's been real, but it hasn't been this real.
Community members finally getting some resolution to the mystery.
We're happy for them and praying God bless the family.
We were kind of really cheering Archer on and his search and the passion that he's built around this case.
In March, the Hood River County Sheriff's Office brought in a salvage crew to attempt to recover the vehicle. But with decades of sediment buildup, they were only able to get the chassis and the engine. Now, this car is not in good shape, especially since Mayo believes the car went into the water originally, right where that ladder is. There was no railing there at the time. He says the car flipped multiple times and went all the way down to the end of this old canal system. During our visit Monday, Mayo says he found more remains and personal items.
And I found what I believe is Barbara's shoe, what's left of it. You can really see that canvas barely, any kind of organic material barely lasts for that long.
But Mayo says these may be his final dives due to the danger. With the car buried nose first, upside down, even the sheriff's office has suspended recovery efforts as it takes possession of all the remains found by Mayo.
I thought it was kind of my mystery to solve, and then I saw the car and touched the car, and I realized, almost like the family had brought me in for this, right?
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week all across the Inland Northwest, so let's help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
Two weeks into the International Operating Engineering Union Local 302 strike, we're getting a clear picture of its impact. While the strikes are for union workers in eastern Washington, the Idaho Transportation Department outlines several key construction projects they say are now delayed or adjusted as a result. This includes traffic shifts on the State Highway 41 interchange, major work on the State Highway 53 Pleasant View interchange, and beams being installed at the I-90 Coeur d'Alene River Bridge. IDT also warns of delays in the projects to widen I-90 between Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene. The project to add 2 lanes both east and west officially began last week, but the department says the strikes prevented work from getting underway. Crews are also looking at traffic control options at the I-90 4th of July Pass, where a resurfacing project is still in the works. IDT is currently looking over options to change its barriers and routes while construction is still in progress. And State Highway 54 reconstruction from State Highway 41 to Greystone Road is paused. IDT says they provided temporary paving near construction areas at Timberlake High School and 10th Street in Spirit Lake. Detour information will be posted locally for those impacted, but IDT says that'll depend on how long the strike continues. We've reached out to both the Idaho Department of Transportation and the union. We haven't heard back from either party yet. In Post Falls, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Well, I have Everett and Piper here from Hayden that are just 2 of over 5,000 kiddos across the country who are completing the 50-yard challenge.
Some see mowing the lawn as just another chore, but for Piper and Everett Small, It became their next big challenge.
There was this lawn that we had to do. The grass was like this long, and it took us an hour to mow, but it was super satisfying when we were done, and the person was super gracious about it.
Rodney Smith Jr. from Huntsville, Alabama, says he started his nonprofit, Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service, about 10 years ago. He started mowing lawns for free for veterans, the elderly, single parents, and the disabled.
It makes me proud because I know when I was a kid, I disliked mowing lawns, but God took something I dislike and turned it to something I love to do. Now every single day I get the chance to encourage kids across this beautiful country to get out there and make a difference one lawn at a time.
Now he inspires kids nationwide to do the same, teaching them the value of serving their communities, known as the 50-yard challenge. Piper and Everett pledged to the challenge.
Hi, Miss Nancy. How are you?
It's been very helpful to me since my lawnmower broke and I don't have one right now. And they do a good job, and they're just really good kids.
And 4 years later, with 50 lawns completed, Rodney drove all the way to North Idaho to honor their hard work with a brand new leaf blower, lawnmower, and weed whacker.
I think it's really fun to see their reaction, especially when we knock on their front doors and say, hey, can we mow your lawn for free? We could do it for free, and it's for this cool challenge. Could you do it? And their faces are all the same. They're like, really? You would do that?
And we thought it was a good way to just help people that couldn't do their lawns, and they were like really ashamed of it because it was like growing really like out of control. So felt really good to help them.
As we speak right now, Rodney is headed to his next stop in South Dakota. I'm reporting here in Hayden, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we want to remind you that you can get the latest newscasts and weather forecasts anytime on KREM 2 Plus. It's free to watch and download for Roku, Amazon Fire, and on Apple TV. Now here's one more story before we go.
At Pittsburgh and Providence.
This will be done later today, so you guys can come by and see it.
Traffic slowed to a hands and knees crawl as paint met pavement.
We're making a mural.
Try and make the neighborhood prettier.
You may have seen these two-dimensional art pieces popping up all across town. This is actually the 15th asphalt art installation.
This is actually my last one. This is my third one.
Chris Bovey is one of the many artists behind Spokane Art's street pieces, now adorning avenues in Manitou, Logan, Southgate, and beyond. For each design, creators work with neighborhood councils.
They are the boss.
They get to choose the artists they work with, and they get to help kind of form the design.
Shelby Allison with Spokane Arts says each design reflects the vibe of the neighborhood as chosen by its residents. Nearby Hayes Park plays into Bovey's Bemis piece.
So it's a big oak tree, and then with some animals, some wildlife. So I'm working on a squirrel here, there's a little bee, and there's an owl over there. And then they have a concert here, so there's some music notes.
Each piece costs around 10 grand.
From the fees from the speed cameras around town. So if you've got a speeding ticket, you've helped this program. It's joking.
But the city's serious about the art installations. Allison says the eye-catching designs do more than add vibrancy and community connection.
These have been seen to reduce issues with pedestrians and cars by about 50%. And I think the way it's so effective is because it's not a sign telling you what to do. You naturally are like, what is this?
And it's not just traffic slowing for a better look.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great.
Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching KREM 2 News Week in Review.